All right, so we did dimensions, and similar to dimensions, it's kind of distant cousin, are leaders. And leaders are just arrows that point to things, and usually you'll have text associated with them that says, here, this is a door, and here, this is a window, and maybe this is, whatever you're trying to call out. You're going to point to it. So I'm going to show you the two different types of leaders. Actually, technically, three different types of leaders. So I'll put that ribbon back on. I'm going to try to start doing things both ways because a lot of people do use the ribbon, and I'm trying to make peace with that. All right, so you have different types of leaders. You have what's this one going to do? Is this going to do the M leader? It's going to do the M leader. So I don't want to get into the M leader is the last thing I'm going to want to do because it has a whole style associated with it. So if you get your Q leader, your leader, and your M leader. So we're going to annotate. Let's see. There's your M leaders, and this is still just M leaders. So I'm gonna have to actually show this because I don't know where the regular leaders are on the toolbar. Turn my menu bar on, set that to 1 because you can get to leaders. Multi-leader. Wow, they don't even have. What did they try to hide this from everybody? All right, so they really want you to use multi-leaders, and I agree. Multi-leaders are my favorite, but I would be remiss if I didn't show you all the options. So I'm just going to type this in for you. I could have sworn there were two different types of leaders, but I don't see two different types of leaders. What I see is one type of leader. M leader. Okay, whatever. All right, so here we go. Q leader. It's a quick leader, right? You have settings, and you can change the settings of what you want the Q leader to do. The whole point of it is once you set this stuff up, you can just get going. Like, so I'm going to leave it on the default, which is MText, which is probably what you're going to do. We're not going to do a SP line. We're going to leave it a straight leader. We're not going to have it curved. The number of points, you can set a number of, like a limit to the number of points. Like if you want to have like a leader that kind of like jogs a little bit, you can choose what the default arrowhead is. Angle constraints. You could say the first one can be any angle and the second one has to be horizontal if you want, or whatever. And then how you're having it attached. Middle of bottom line, middle of multi-line text, however you want it. We'll say on both of them, middle of top line. So we'll say okay, and leave it at that. You have other stuff you can put here, which is kind of cool. You can do I guess a copy of an object. I have not tried that yet, believe it or not. A tolerance marker and a block reference. We're gonna put MText as your default. Always prompt for width. We want to leave the width at whatever the default is. Always left justify would probably be a good choice, but some people do choose to right justify their text. And I'm not going to put a frame on it. So I'm going to say, okay. Again, that was in the settings. It's asking me for my first point. So I'm going to click like this door. Okay, and my ortho was turned off. I can turn it on, but my ortho was turned off. So I'm going to put it here. You don't have to put your landing. As soon as you hit enter, it will put the landing when you put text. You can start typing, or you can hit enter for MText. So let's say I do line 1, enter, line 2, enter. Here's what it does. It's still MText, right? You still get the MText editor, okay? And if I drag this around, the leader goes with it, okay? But it looks like it's trying to attach it to the left side. That might have been in my settings. Did I mess with that? Wow, I'm really starting to break this thing. Yeah, I'm really breaking this thing. I really don't like using Q leaders. Look at this. Come on, AutoCAD, get it together. I'm not even justified anymore. All right, so I erased the text, and it looks like it got rid of it from the whole leader entirely. So let's go to that Q leader again. Let's go to my settings. And always left justify. Yeah, and all that. Good stuff. Attachment. Text on the right side. Middle of, yeah. All right, well, all of it's fine, but it didn't want to work with me. So I'm going to put this back to wherever it was before and leave this alone. Apparently, I made the leader gods angry. Try it again. This time, we're going to hit MText. It brings up the actual MText editor right off the bat. Line 1, line 2, and just enter. or click off C, and it put it on the bottom. I don't like that. And again, trying to attach it to this side, not a big fan of that. And look, it's messing up again. So words of the wise, don't use Q leader. It sucks. All right, what's after that? Leader. Regular leader. You get more options with the regular leader, but it works the same pretty much. You get annotation. So right off the bat, you don't get settings. You just pick your 2 points, and you get annotation, format, or you can undo if you want to if you didn't want to click that point. The default is annotation. Format, you can choose it whether you want to be straight, SP line, an arrow, or none. I'm just going to exit that and go straight into annotation. You can start typing your annotation right away or hit option. So let's just say, again, I type in line 1, line 2. You can already tell we're right justified. But at least this time it doesn't screw up when I'm trying to do things here. I can move this one around just fine. And it looks like the text moves independently. The leader does not. You can move the leader. So if I move the text, the leader will go with it, which is nice. If I move the leader, the text does not. I have now exploded these 2 objects. No, I've not. I've reconnected them. Look at that. Fancy. All right, so I do believe this is, what do you call it? Associative? Let's see. So model, it's once you, if you're in, I think it works in model space as well, but if you're in paper space and you move a model space object, it goes with it. So keep that in mind. That works for dimensions too. If I didn't mention that in my dimension video, dimensions work the same way. If they are associated with the model space object, and the model space object moves, the dimension will move with it. All right. So briefly, let's go over the next set of options. That last tier you didn't get to see. So I click here, annotation, then go to options. Here you've got tolerance, I guess, for a tolerance marker. It's got actually a lot of the same stuff that you would get in the Q leader, just not by default. You get to choose them. Tolerance, copy block, none, and mtext. Mtext will be just text like we just did it. What's nice here is you can choose none and leave your leader like it is. Now, why would you do that? Why would you not have a leader with text? There's plenty of times. Well, if you happen to be in the steel industry like I am, if you do steel design, steel detailing, I make leaders all the time, like this, and I choose none because I make weld symbols. So I'm going to do an ugly weld symbol. That wasn't too bad. If you know steel, this is a fillet weld. So there may be times where you need to draw just arrow. You just need an arrow. You need a leader. And you can change the leader properties after the fact. So you can change the arrowhead type to a dot or a dot blank or, architectural tick or something. Or where's the use dot blank sometimes. I'll also use integral sometimes. You'll see that one. So you can choose none. You can do your own arrow. I've done my own arrow before. It's kind of goofy. Arrow size, and the other things, your text, whatever else. You get the gist of this stuff. Okay. The last one I'm going to show you is the multi-leader, which I think is the best one and probably why AutoCAD pimps this thing out. You see it all over the place. Well, in every one of these areas. So the multi-leader has a style associated with it, like dim style. To get to that, we're going to say mleader style. Okay, just like dimension styles, we have multi-leader styles, and I'm going to modify the default. And here you get your options for the multi-leader. Have I gone through this before? I feel like I have. No, I probably haven't. I don't think I would have. You get your leader format, your leader structure, and your content. This is basically your text. So your leader format, is it going to be a straight SP line? Basically, is it curved? Which, for stylistic reasons, some people do use curved leaders. I'm going to do straight. Yeah, straight. You can choose the default color. I like to use by layer. Same thing with line type, by layer, by layer. Ooh, excuse me. Arrowhead, you can choose the default arrowhead. I'm going to do close filled. The size of the arrowhead, I'm fine with it being 3/16. Leader break. This is if you, this is if you're doing a dim break on auto dim break on a leader. This is the break size. Constraints, maximum leader points. If you choose to, this is how many times you can, how many like points you can make on the leader as you're like zigzagging it around. If you just choose 2, then as soon as you place it, it's going to do like the 1, 2, and that's it. That's your 2 points. You can choose the first segment angle. It locks in the first segment or the second segment. There's reasons for that. It depends on formatting on different things. Automatically include a landing. That's going to be this piece right here. You're probably going to want that. Stylistically, it looks better, I think. You can set a landing distance. That's how long this piece is. I'll leave it at the default. Put it at whatever you want. Probably doesn't need to be set to a 64th. Annotative. This is if you're doing annotative stuff. If not, you can specify a scale for your leader or scale them to your layout. So the content is what's inside your text, multi-leader type, text, or a block. If you have a block, which is kind of nice if you think about it, because if you use a block, you could have like tags. A lot of people have like tags. You could have a block, like a dynamic block that goes there as part of your leader. So super handy on that end. You can have default text if you want. I'm not going to do that, but you can put default text. You get the whole editor. So if you want to put like default text when you put in a new multi-leader, you can do that. Your text style, you can choose which text style you want to use. Clicking that brings up your style editor. You can do your text angle. Always keep horizontal as inserted. Always right reading. Keep horizontal. Your text color by layer. Text height. Always left justify. A choice of mine. Frame the text or don't frame the text. I don't care. Horizontal or vertical attachment. Vertical is just weird. Okay, that's like weird. All right, so I'm going to stick with horizontal, but you do have the options on how you want them to be attached. I'm going to say horizontal. Left attachment, I want them to both be the middle of the top line of text. So as the text starts to be entered downward, I want that leader to always hit the middle of the top line. Okay. Let's see here. Sorry, my thing's like wigging out on me. Oh, my OBS got moved. That's right. I'm still recording, so I'm not worried about it. All right. Excuse the glitch. We're almost done with this. Another video is getting a little bit long too. Landing gap. This is the distance between the line and the text. So that's it. We're going to say OK. Close. Let's do an M leader now. You can do it, again, from here. You can type an M leader, whatever. Putting in an M leader like this, you can see it already has the landing. So I picked 1 point, picked 2 points. That's my maximum 2 points. You can turn that option off and get as many points as you want. As soon as you place it, you can start typing in. So line 1, line 2. There. I like multi-leaders better. They're more dynamic. When you select the text, the whole thing gets selected because it's all one object. It's not 2 objects. As you drag around, you can see it dynamically change because the leader's moving with it before you move the text, and then the leader would move once you place the text. You can see this dynamically move around. You can change the leader landing with this grip right here, which is nice. You can add new leaders by hovering over this point and saying add leader. You can do lengthen landing too if you wanted to. That's like the same thing as that was. You're just doing it from this point. Clicking here, you can say add leader. So I can point to this. You can actually keep pointing as many times as you want. When you change the arrowhead, it will change it for all of them. Keep that in mind. Okay. You can just hover over each one of these and say remove leader. You can choose to add a vertex. So if you want to make like this kind of thingy like that, you can make like, your little articulated leaders. You can do that. You can just remove the vertex by hovering over it and removing it. A lot more options, and what's nice is they're all still together. You can add that vertex back. So we add this vertex back, right? Put this here. And as I move this around, we've still got that text there, right? And it does its best job to try to make this thing work. That's dynamic. And that's why multi-leaders are probably your best bet no matter what you do, unless you need a leader that has no text. In that case, yeah, go for a basic leader. But I'd say otherwise, if you're using a leader with text, go for a multi-leader. It's going to be your best bet, especially once you get your style all set up. So that's leaders in a nutshell. So, okay, ready for the Infinity Gauntlet here.